Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, no marks for guessing. We are back with another session from our series of webinars. The mind hears everything your body says. And this time, we wish to tell you much more about the sunshine. Before I go ahead, I must welcome each one of you present with us in this super program. I am Prachi, and I propose to stay with you throughout the session to make it as engaging and interactive as possible. We, as a team at Wellness Mandala, along with its health experts, have come to take you through a journey of mental, emotional, and physical wellness. Wellness Mandala looks at health in a holistic manner. It works on the premise that prevention is definitely better than cure. Wellem has set off with the vision of being the most effective holistic wellness provider to bring joy and growth to people's life. With its robust tech platform, which makes it an effective and handy tool to measure and support you in your journey of well-being. Great. So before we get started and we hit off, let us all start with the sunshine smile. In today's super program, we will use your time constructively. One, to understand your health worries. Two, to share some unknown facts about sunlight and its several benefits. And three, on how to adopt some time-tested natural laws of wellness in your daily regime. You will be happy to know that we propose to bring a series of webinars that will come to you with at the same time, same day, with same energy, and a lot of different topics and different knowledge. Before I have to introduce what we are focusing and talking about today in detail, I must welcome the expert team from Wellness Mandala. Today with us, we have Mr. Rakesh Sareen. He's the MD of Wellem. Ms. Shivi Sabharwal, Director of Wellem. Dr. Shakti, our Holistic Wellness Coach. Dr. Ruchika, our naturopath, yogic science and acupuncture specialist. Ms. Apurva, our nutritionist. And Ms. Leher, counselor and psychologist. Last but not the least, Ms. Nishita, our psychologist and psychometrician. I start by inviting Mr. Rakesh Sareen for taking the session forward. But before that, please allow me to give you a brief introduction for our very own RS, a dedicated wellness practitioner. He is a global business leader, been at the helm of a multi-billion-dollar corporation spanning all across the globe as CEO and president, and he's currently running a successful advisory. Aris is a distinguished alumnus of IIT BHU and Oxford University. He is super passionate for the cause of wellness, corporate performance enhancement, and for a cleaner and greener environment. Hello, Aris. And Aris, before, of course, I hand over the session to you, I am very intrigued to know, with this background of working life, how is it that you got drove towards wellness and gaining such in-depth knowledge of it? Please share with us.
Thank you, Prachi, and great to be here with all of you around this Zoom session. So I would say that crisis at times or always, is so important and it can give so much to us. In my life, I got crisis at the age which was much younger. I'm diabetic for last 33 years. And when I got the news, I was devastated. But then, I tried to put solution in place, and I was behaving like a good boy most of the time. But, 3 years back, me and my wife, we decided to go around the world. And my doctor told that, well, buddy, you need to have insulin injection, carry it with you, because now your tablets are not enough to handle that. So one of my goal was that can I get rid of this insulin and the tablets? It was a year round round robin, around the world. And before closing it, I went to I would say a beautiful center called Lifeline Wellness Center in Knoxville near Chicago. And that turned me around. And first time I got to know that, look, there are something like called natural laws of wellness. And if we imbibe that in our life, miracles can happen. And that's what really happened in my case. I'm much, much more energetic right now. And my diabetes is in much better control. Instead of going to an insulin, I have now reduced my tablets to almost 1/4 level. And I call myself as a very, very sincere practitioner of wellness, at the same time, a very passionate messenger for wellness. So that's my little story.
Interesting. And yes, you definitely do look energetic, and that is because you are energetic because of the practices that you follow in life. That is great to hear, RS. And we definitely now want to know as to what is that we are about to share today with all our guests and participants who have joined us today.
So if I might start by sharing a slide, on natural laws of wellness, which essentially, bring so much to us, to our very intelligent, super duper intelligent body. It creates the right environment. And then, we know, our body knows what is best for us, and it heals by itself. I always give an example that if we get a cut in the finger, we give it the right environment, we don't put it in the muck, it heals by itself and we can't even see the scar. But if we don't give it the right environment, we may develop septic, and it goes on and on. So these 9 natural laws of wellness help us to create that environment where our bodies and mind, by the way, they both can thrive. Last week, we discussed on the subject of air.
Yes.
And I'll try to capture some snippets out of that as a reminder, and this time, our focus is on sunlight, sunshine. Sunshine is the originator of human life. So that's the idea. So let me.
It was great to know that, yes, you would be capsuling us the air portion as well. We definitely want you to do that before we go ahead to sunlight. Please.
So what we discussed about air the last time was simply that our breath, the breath of air, impacts our emotions. At the same time, so yin yang, our emotions impact our breathing. And we all can relate with that. When we are angry, what happens? Our breathing gets shallow. And when we are happy, is a different pattern of breathing. When we are calm, and our breath pattern changes with it. It is also proven that by breathing in a particular way, we can also change our emotions. So that was one theme what we discussed, and we went quite a bit in detail. Second thing is that we talked about the people who at times are habitual of mouth breathing during the day. If not during the day, maybe in the night. And we also discussed that 70% of our detoxification happens by air. We also discussed that breathing by nose, we generate a gas called nitric oxide, which is a very powerful immunity booster and a very powerful detoxificant. And therefore, it is important to take a step back and see what is my breathing pattern, how am I doing that? The third thing is that, as I mentioned just now, it builds our immunity, in many different ways. And of course, we had a poll last time, on the lifestyle disorders, and it is seen that majority of the lifestyle disorders are psychosomatic. 90% of them are psychosomatic, and breathing, either directly or via our psychology, helps in controlling those lifestyle disorders, whether you call it diabetes or blood pressure or heart issues or insomnia or obesity. So all of them are impacted by that. Now I would suggest, Prachi, that before we get into sunshine, I have two questions in mind. One is that let us take a multiple option this time on the concerns what people are having on the lifestyle disorders, and we'll relate it with sunshine. The other one is a question around how do we perceive sunshine as such in our life. So would request if you can take us through with that poll, would be a great idea. And I will stop sharing my screen so that you can go on the poll.
Great. So thank you, Aris, for giving us synopsis over the air that we did last time. And dear guests and everybody in the audience, I would be sharing a poll which is going to be on your screen, and you would be able to click and submit your responses in a multiple choice format. So please, the question that we want to take your opinion and your inputs is on what are the health challenges being faced by you. So like Aris just mentioned that, yes, we want to hear your inputs in terms of what disorders and what issues you are facing, basis which Aris as well as our other panel of experts would be able to handle your queries and questions in the coming times of the whole session. So Aris, it is interesting to see how many numbers and how many votes are coming to us. And I would request all of you to please click up your, maybe the top 3 at least that come to your mind, and do a submit. So I will keep the poll on for the next 20 seconds for you to put in your inputs. Before Aris, I would be revealing the results to you for our understanding. And also to everyone present, you can feel free to put in your questions during the session in the Q&A feature that we have. And from our team, we would try to best answer your queries simultaneously. And a few of them we probably will be taking live with us with our doctors and Aris along. So please feel free to put in your queries during the session. And I'm stopping this particular poll. And Aris, the results are here for you to understand. Anxiety and stress.
Anxiety and stress.
8%, yes.
Then the second one is what I see is
gastric acidity and reflux is like a 28%. Very close to 8 is BP, high cholesterol, and heart issues also. So these two we can pretty much keep in tandem. And then the last, at least in the top 3 is diabetes. So anxiety, gas, BP, heart related, and diabetes. I think these 4, if I may say, are certainly what is coming out of the poll. So we'll we will keep this in note. And Aris, should I also ask the second question related to how sunlight, in people's opinion, matter to these?
I think that's a good idea.
And so if, dear audience, we would love to hear from you that with these challenges that you have posed in front of us and shared with us, which challenge areas can be impacted by sunshine in a positive way? So keeping just not the exact issues, But apart from that, we also want to hear from you as to which of these: immunity, health and blood pressure, hormonal imbalance, bone health and joint pains, sleep quality, stress and anxiety, obesity, diabetes, growth in children, certain types of cancer like breast cancer or colon cancer, or any other. We want to hear from you as to what, in your opinion, does sunshine help in a positive way? So again, I will keep it on for the next 10 seconds before I'm receiving a lot of inputs from all of you. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you for your inputs. And Aris, the results are what I see in today's time. Well, yes, I think the key word all of us are using is immunity. And I will, of course, leave it for Aris and the experts to talk about how much it is affected by sunshine. But that is one that people have spoken maximum about. Then people have also spoken, Aris, about bone health and joint pains. And then they've also shared that sleep quality, stress and anxiety. These are the top three which are directly or well impacted by sunshine. And of course, growth in children also people do relate to. So, Aris, with these results, hopefully now you have a view on what everybody in our audience has a viewpoint like, and please share your thoughts now.
Yes, that's a very good start. And before I move on to sunshine, I would compliment the people who fall in the category of 17% who have voted for all of above. And that's a fact. And that's what, we are going to talk about, that how sunshine really impacts all the above 10, and all the above 10 are more of a lifestyle disorder. So thank you all very much, for your good voting. And, naturally sunshine is known by, vitamin D. And people know that sunshine is a very, very powerful detoxificant. So 72%, votes go to that. And then the second one to the bone health. And absolutely, that's 100% correct. Now, let me share my screen and put a perspective in front of all of you. So here we go. So think of our origination. Sunshine is the most basic component which brought life on the planet Earth. And when we started, our ancestors, we would be living outdoor. We were outdoor people. We would get into our caves, when the sun is very bright or very hot. Otherwise, people would be out in open. Our hundreds of millions of years history, that's what it is. And by the way, our genes remember that. They have a very strong recall. There's a lot of research around that. So over the years, what has happened now? Over the years, what has happened is that we are now more of an indoor society, and especially when we talk about our places where we are living, in the urban India or urban world, that's where, our majority of the time goes in. So not only our houses where we get up in our bedrooms and take shower in the nice bathroom and then get into our car or tram or whatever mode of transport, get into the office, start working, get back home. In addition, even today, our sports are having indoor stadium. So we play basketball and volleyball indoor. So our society is more of indoor society today. So what happens? What happens is that 80 to 90% of us, the research shows, are deficient in vitamin D. In fact, we have done some pilots and we realized that it has ranged up to 100% also in some of the organizations. Now, when we are deficient in vitamin D, there are three kind of people. A, we don't even know that we are deficient. B, we know, we get ourselves tested. We take a sachet of vitamin D to boost it up. And then what we do is we forget after 2 to 3 months. And then there are people who don't care. Now, I would like to say that by recouping ourselves through the sachet, are we aware that what all are we missing? Fine, we got the vitamin D, but what all are we missing? And these are very important pointers. So my role as a messenger of wellness for you is that I will bring out in a very simple manner that vitamin D, for which sun is known for, is of course a very, very important component, because vitamin D allows, the calcium, phosphorus to get absorbed in our system. It allows us, to live healthy, the joint health and the osteoporosis, etc., are taken care. But also vitamin D is very, very important vitamin to, for our hormonal secretion and lot of biochemical reactions which happen in our body. We shouldn't care for it. What we should care for is that my vitamin level is good. And so kudos to the people who are taking the sachet, but a thumbs down for the sake that while we are taking sachet, we are missing out big time on other aspects. Now, these 4 aspects, what I mentioned here, they are linked very closely to the first question what we had in front of us, the lifestyle disorders. And sunshine complements, our body to live much healthier and fitter and with more energy. So let me take you through with a very simple explanation. While it is the domain of doctors, but I think many of us would like to know about it before we adopt to change. So my purpose of telling you is not that you learn the medicine, but at least have a basic understanding that why should I take out half an hour every day morning, early morning, and get into the sun. Maybe this knowledge, this information might be your motivator. So here we go. Well, this is not a technical slide. We love this slide. We all know rainbows. We all know Vibgyor. We start with violet, isn't it?
Absolutely, Aris.
Yes? No? The audience?
Yes.
So we start with violet, and the Vibgyor ends with red. Now, have you heard of a thing called ultraviolet rays? And in ultraviolet, have you heard of UVA and UVB?
Audience can feel free to put a yes or a no to RS's question.
And do you know the specific function of UVA and UVB? Do you read the sunscreen when you buy? The label of the sunscreen. What does it protect us from? So these are some very important questions we need to understand, that what is UVA doing in our system? What is UVB doing in our system? Why am I applying sunscreen?
So Aris, I think we have the we have the audience opinions coming in, and yes, I see a lot of don't knows about the differences between the UVA and the UVB. And well, looks like some people don't use sunscreen, but for people who use it, they do not read before they don't get into the detail of what is it about. So yeah, so we have mixed answers from the audience coming into to your questions.
So let me go a little bit technical, and to take you in the realm of UVA and UVB, I think we deserve to know. So what happens is that there are three ultraviolet rays, kind of ultraviolet rays, which come from the sun. Majority of that is blocked by the ozone layer. We have heard of the ozone hole, which is more on the South Pole side, Australia and all side. Now the UV rays come from this side, which is from the violet. That is why it's called ultraviolet rays. UV is ultraviolet. In ultraviolet, the C is hardly penetrating to the earth. The UVB rays are the rays which penetrate our skin little bit. And when they penetrate, they produce vitamin D. That vitamin D, what is a raw material for vitamin D? Yes, no?
For me, at least, honestly, if you ask me, I think I can think of the bones and skin being probably affected, but I would look
So
for your.
the raw material of vitamin D is nothing but our beautiful cholesterol. So cholesterol is not bad. Cholesterol is the raw material for vitamin D. When the sun rays fall on our skin, in the veins and all, gets converted. Cholesterol gets converted to vitamin D, and then later on it gets converted in a usable format. And Dr. Richika is going to talk about that. So that's where we are getting vitamin B. Now, if you are protecting yourself with sunscreen, we will not get UVB in our skin. And of course, there is a timing which Dr. Richika is going to talk about. But getting into the sunshine without sun protection screen is very, 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 very important. Otherwise, we are there, but we are not there. Now, what is UVA, by the way? UVA does many functions which is happening at a deeper level. And for explaining that, I need to go a little bit more technical, but I think we all deserve to know this. So what do you see out here is our arteries and veins, and where, and when the sunshine falls, UVA penetrates a little bit deeper. And when it gets into our vein out here, it produces the same magical gas called nitric oxide. Now, what is the function of nitric oxide? Why it is so important? Number one, what it does, throughout our body is that it relaxes our arteries and veins. It expands them, which is very, very important. So it relaxes our whole system, our heart, our organs. Number two, what it does is that, have you all heard of free radicals in our body? So it neutralizes free radicals. Third thing, what it does is that that today we are all very informed people. LDL is there, which deposits in our arteries. So cholesterol is not bad. If it is linked to LDL, it is bad. If it is linked to HDL, it is not bad. So the LDL, why it is bad is that it oxidizes and it deposits in our arteries. When NO is there, nitric oxide is there, it protects LDL from getting oxidized. So it reduces the deposits. Another thing nitric oxide which does in a very beautiful fashion is that it's a great immunity booster. It is also the cleanser for the blood. It separates the cells. So there are a lot of benefits, which happen, in our system. And I'll move on from this technical slide and go on a very important factor. And I'll spend a minute over here, which is that in the morning hours, first 30 minutes or so of the sunrise, what happens that if we look at the sun, there's a direct connection of sun with our pineal gland, our third eye. the seat of power, which is the center of, it is the prime minister of our body. So it commands the whole body what to release, what not to release, when to sleep, when not to sleep. And I'm not getting technical out here. There are hundreds of thousands of research papers around this, that we can improve our emotional well-being by getting into sun in the morning, half an hour, 1 hour. The morning sun has a typical composure of the light. For example, in the morning sun, when we see is more of yellow and blue rays, which are very friendly with our pineal gland, and the pineal gland then ultimately, and if someone is doing this exercise for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, down the road, you will find some miraculous benefits, which can happen through this. It also, the people who are having insomnia issues, they can get benefited like anything. So friends, what I wanted to share with you is that while taking shower is very important, we all take shower every day, and in summers we take maybe twice or thrice. But sunshine is a shower what we can give to us, which is internal. It gives us the shine inside our body. It cleanses our body, from inside. If you do the sunbathing, for half an hour, 1 hour, you'll find that the color of the urination gets darkened. Why? Because our body is releasing more toxins while we are taking sun bath. While this NO is working in our system, while our pineal gland is secreting the right kind of hormones to bring immunity in our cells, while it is setting the level of melatonin, which helps us in the nighttime to sleep better and sounder. So these are some of the things I wanted to share with you. And here, very quick. So here I'm not going to spend time in this because you attempted a questionnaire. All these aspects are covered beautifully well through sunshine. And I give one quote, one research study which shows that the girls who have adapted to lot of sunshine in their childhood, in their teenage, the chances of breast cancer for those women reduces by 69%. There's a big reduction in the colon cancer, if we are taking sunshine on a regular basis. So with this, I would say, so what do we do? Once we have this knowledge, once we have this understanding, I think it's very simple. Sunshine is the only product which cannot be diluted, which is not mixed with anything else. It is genuine. And by the way, for our normal shower, we spend money on shampoo and soap, but for the sunshine, it comes free. It is only benefiting you. And on this slide, in fact, I would like to invite our very competent naturopath doctor, and make you understand that why it is important to take sunshine when the zenith angle, what you see out here of the sun, is at a lower level. So I will stop sharing this, and maybe Prachi, you like to introduce Ruchika.
Absolutely. With pleasure, Aris. And thank you for taking us through the current slides and information you have. And we definitely want to hear more, Aris, because what you are telling us is unheard in terms of not just the technical knowledge, but what we generally use in our daily lives. But looks like we didn't know of these facts. And in the end, what you said in terms of sunshine being our free shower, I think I definitely like that. So, and apart from your inputs that you have shared with us already, yes, we have Dr. Ruchika with us, and Dr. Ruchika has pursued her doctorate in naturopathy and yogic sciences. She has completed her master's in acupuncture and oriental medicine and has a great experience in the hospital and medical industry. She has even published her research papers in European journals in biomedical sciences. So, Dr. Rishika, please add on your expertise on this subject, and welcome to the session. And over to RS and Ruchika to take us further.
Thank you, Prachi. Thank you, Aris, for letting me, go through the opportunity to tell and guide people about our natural laws of wellness. So, as Aris already talked about zenith angle, why should we take the sunlight on the zenith angle? Can you please, Aris, put the slide back on so that I can explain? Yes. So, this is the angle where the sun and the distance between the earth is minimum. So these are the sun rays when you get directly onto your abdomen and to your back. So most probably we prefer to take the sunlight directly on your abdomen and your back. So why we should take that? We should take at the sunlights at the level of our abdomen, because we have a very complex mechanism of vitamin D utilization in our body, in our liver, and in our kidney. And one of the major aspects of it is solar plexus. We have all the ganglions and our neurons running through our abdomen near to your aorta. So this is the most prominent part where when we expose the sunlight, and it includes our vital organ like vitamin D, where the synthesis takes place in the liver and the kidney. So this is the main point where the maximum absorption of vitamin D takes place. And in the back also you have the spinal cord where the spinal nerves are running around. So you have 31 pairs of spinal nerves. So these have a great capacity to serve all the vital organs from your body to toe, whatever the movement is happening through your spinal nerves. So it's better to take the sunlight through your navel region or your back region. So I'll explain a little bit about the mechanism, how it works in the body. So from promoting the growth of plants and crops, keeping people warm, sunlight is essential for life, and there is much increasing evidence to support its health benefits. So I'll go to the mechanism. When the sun rays, your UV rays, penetrate into the skin, vitamin D is in the biologically inactive form, where it is being transferred with the precursor hormone to reaches your liver and your kidneys. Vitamin D then is metabolized sequentially in your liver and your kidneys and form into two important compounds of vitamin D. Your body, many cells and organs have the capacity to produce their own vitamin D so that they can start function accordingly. They play a major role in calcium and phosphate metabolism, then maintaining a metabolic health, functioning of the organs, and your skeletal health system. So here the vitamin D starts playing a major role in your life. So many people ask about in the Q&A sessions also, what is the duration of sunlight and how much time we should sit in the sun. So it should be done for about an hour, half an hour within, an hour of sunrise or sunset. The best timings to take the sun bath is 1 to 2 hours after sunrise and before sunset. As the sun rays at that time has not very harsh rays, so you can better taking that thing in the timings. So the first thing which I want you to keep in your mind while taking the sun rays, it should not, you should not take a very sunbath in very harsh rays of the sun. When the sun is very strong, you should avoid it. The timing has been given. It's, half an hour within an hour of sunrise and sunset. So let's talk about, as soon as you start to sweat, you should avoid and you should stop and move away from the sun rays and just take a bath or a shower. And you can also wear a cap or a hat to prevent more of the dehydration in your body. You should be in minimum clothing or should wear light colored cotton clothes or to let your skin absorb more sunlight in a better way. So there are some of the precautions which you must take during a sunbath. It is important to stay hydrated during sunbath. One should drink at least 1 glass of water during sunbath. Drink water if you are spending prolonged period of time in the sun as well. Keep yourself hydrated. It is important to cover your head while taking a sun bath. You can use a cap, you can use a towel, you can use a hat. Too much time in the sun can lead to sun rash, and sometimes it is also known as heat rash. Sun exposure can also lead you to sunburn. which is painful and cause many types of blisters and can affect all parts of your body, can lead to tanning also. So after taking a sun bath, one must take a bath, normal shower. So I'll introduce a very genuine practice in our life, which is sun gazing. So sun gazing is a form of meditation that allows us to reconnect with the nature's life force. It involves looking at the sun and being charged by its energy. Sun gazing is easier than more traditional meditation practices which we perform. So as you have physical visual to focus on the sun, which will stop your mind from wandering around. You can imagine your son as a baby, a flower, anything. So how to practice sun gaze? Practice in the morning within an hour of sunrise or sunset. It is safer when the sun is closest to the earth. So stand barefoot on the ground, then practice barefoot. Why we should practice barefoot? Because it connects us to the mother earth and gives more benefit to our body. Charges our reflex system. Now, you should remove your contact lenses or glasses. Don't directly sun gaze through the windows and all. So keep your eyes open and look directly at the sun. To start with the gaze for just 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then you can look away and look at the sun again after a few seconds. This time for a longer period, you can move up to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and you can make your gaze up to 5 minutes and up to 10 minutes after a prolonged practice. If looking at the sun makes you feel uncomfortable, focus on the sun's hollow or the area surrounding it. So focus on your breathing as well. Relax your body and allow the sunlight to radiate onto you. As you practice, take a moment to
Dr. Ruchika, I do see a lot of questions also coming to us in this particular respect, which we will probably want to take again from the audience and answer and share what you're saying exactly about sun gazing there also. And I would request if we are proceeding to our next slide.
Okay, sure. So I'll just...
That's all, I think. And maybe Shivi can jump in now.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And yes, I would request Shivi to. So Shivi, of course, we are talking about this topic on our very beautiful sunshine. And from the last session, I remember you mentioning about your two sunshines. So very, of course, I would want to introduce you in a way for our audience, for all of them to know that, yes, you're with your mom entrepreneur, like how we introduced yourself and being a director at Wellem, and your experience of 15 years that you have been working, and you bring this passion for the cause of holistic wellness. But, coming back to your sunshines, these days looks like our eras are such where everybody is indoors. And how much in the first place do you feel that children are even missing outdoors? And if they go outdoors, what time of the day are they going? Because I seem to be hearing a lot about the specific time that we should go on. So what is that you have to share with us? How do you take care of this aspect?
Hi, Prachi. Firstly, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Great session, by the way. RS and Ruchika, my personal favorite, sunlight. And honestly, let me share something with you. I personally feel the difference in my energy and my motivation when I'm exercising outside versus when I do it in a classroom. And Prachi, to answer your question about kids, let me put some facts. No, we as adults, we cry and crave about the situation that we are in currently, because of Corona. Now imagine our kids, they're used to waking up in the morning, going out to school, spending their time in the sun, and their life has suddenly come to a halt. They develop, these are formative years, such crucial years in our younger kids' life, where they develop their social skills as well. They learn how to cope in life, and suddenly everything has basically come to a halt. So unfortunately, what's happening in the external world is not enough. But as their caretaker, as their mother, what I can do is that I can actually introduce some healthy lifestyle choices in my kids' life, my sunshine life. So what I have started doing is that the first thing that my kids do, my boys do, when they wake up in the morning, is they come out in the sun, because they know that's where they'll find their parents. So I do all my pranayama, my breathing exercises, my yoga, and I keep reinventing these outside in the sun. So now it is a habit formation even for my sons. So they come out, whether they want to play a game of chess, they're welcome. But as a ritual, they have to come out in the sun and spend some time, quality time with us. So that's what I do, because sunlight has such a huge impact on our kids. I think I don't need to mention RS, Ruchika, they've already covered the beautiful impacts it has, just not on adults, but even on kids. So the bone growth. Everybody wants tall kids, right? So please get your kids out in the sun. Immunity building and retention power also helps them sleep better in the night. So if you do not want to get disturbed in the night, parents, please introduce some sunshine in your kids' life. Also, let me share something with all of you. With this webinar series that we have started, we actually wanted to empower each and every one of you and bring forth the abundance of these natural laws of wellness, which the nature provides us for free. So why not imbibe these habits in our life? So each time, while we are unraveling these amazing benefits that these natural laws have to offer, what we intend to do is that we want to offer you a ritual. So each time, so last time we covered air, this time we are covering sunlight. What I want you to do is to take away something from this session and each week imbibe one of these practices in your morning rituals as well. So by the end of the session, you'll have a very strong ritual program to kickstart your morning, and it will make you more energetic and more powerful spiritually, physically, and emotionally. So that's one piece that I want to leave everybody. Now, Prachi, also, coming back to sunlight, there are not a lot of people who are even aware that they lack, sunlight or vitamin D deficiency. It kind of shows in their body when, our body starts hurting, or we don't feel, that energetic and we feel lethargic. And that's the time we say that, okay, there's something wrong. Let me get, my assessments done. So it is extremely important to keep tab of your health, and hence knowing your body, knowing what's going on in yourself is very important. And that's where I think where Wellness Mandala kind of bring forward its offering. So in Wellem, we give a lot of importance to self-care. It's the first thing that we basically start in order of assessment, and all these natural laws of wellness get covered in our self-care assessment. And this gives a very strong story to all our coaches like Ruchika to understand where the problem lies, and then their coaching and advisory is so much more effective, right?
Yes.
I'd like to share something with you. Now, these are the elements that get covered in our 5 mandala assessment. So RS has put up the slide. So what we cover is self-care capital, joy capital, fitness capital, vital capital, and of course, our hemo capital. Now, what happens is I'll also like to share, we had actually done assessment for one of the IT companies where we realized that 100% of the employees were deficit on vitamin D. Another company, we noticed that 84% of people were deficit on vitamin D. And these are very large and alarming figures. And their level were 1/3 of the regular normal levels. So the deficiency of vitamin D was not just captured in the self-care capital when we did their assessment, but it also showed in the joy capital assessment. And joy capital is all linked to emotional well-being. So, as RS and Ruchika rightly mentioned, it increases your serotonin level. So all this impacts your emotional well-being also, how happy you feel, the happiness hormones. This again was impacted when we did their vital capital assessment, which happened through a non-invasive machinery. And it actually shows you, how your vital organs are functioning, and also gives you a picture of, any future ailments that they might be. So it's a really great tool to kind of know where you stand in your current health and your future health. So this was also shown in the deficiency areas, in their serotonin level, in their anxiety level, in dopamine level. This again got validated when we did their fitness capital assessment. So they were not that flexible. They could see some problem in terms of movements, which again was seen because I'm linking the mandala in the other capitals as well. So then there is, of course, hemo capital, which is where we do a blood analysis test, and everything got validated. So yes, this person is deficient on vitamin D. And all these 5 mandalas, they talk to each other. So I had mentioned, I think the last time also, that they're all interlinked. They're all interrelated, right? So one effect on one mandala will have the effect on all the other mandalas as well. And hence I say that all these 5 mandalas are extremely important to be assessed. So if I have to just sum it up, with Wellness Mandala, we not just do the assessment, but we also provide a very guided advisory in terms of what should be their fitness routines, their emotional well-being plans, what should be their diet. And our coaches have a very clear view as to what the starting point is. So their advisory is so much more effective. And we help and handhold each and every person who joins us throughout this journey, keeping these, these natural laws of wellness at the threshold. So that's what I had to share. Thank you so much. I think I'll give it back to Ruchika and Aris to take it on.
Thank you, Shivi. So just to wrap up, before the Q&A, I would like to share this slide very close to my heart. And what we are seeing here is that, we have a lot of powerful drivers in our life. And when these powerful drivers are in sync, we can carry a lot, we can do a lot. Our potential is unlimited. So when we look at these natural laws of wellness, so we discuss about air. Today we are talking about sunshine. And in the next week, we'll talk about water. And then, we'll go turn by turn. And when we make these natural laws of wellness move in the same direction for ourselves, what will happen is magic, our emotional well-being and our physical well-being. And there again, the emotions and physical well-being are yin yang, so one complements the other, and there's a duality in these two. And that's what brings the magic of what we call joy, true joy. So next week, for example, when we have taken the subject of water as a natural law, now it is a very funny thing to talk about water. What do you talk about water? What is there and what to talk on water for half an hour? But when I took a deep dive into this, I realized there's a lot that we are missing. We are missing so much. I mean, it is directly linked to our creativity, our productivity, our emotional well-being, our health of the liver and the kidney. So what we'll be doing is that we'll be distilling all these things together, put it into a dish, which is tasty, looks good, and we'll get back to you once again, in the next week, and try to see that how these three things, at least air, sunshine, water, can complement each other, and then going forward, we'll take it together. So with this, we have 5-7 minutes, and Shakti, you have been looking at the questions which are there in the box. Would you like to, or Prachi, would you like to, or some people like to ask any questions? Most welcome.
Sure, Aris. We do have the audience asking us a few questions, and while Dr. Shakti has been simultaneously answering a few, we do have a few handy with us, which I would request your inputs on. So the first one which I'm taking is from Shankar Roy Chaudhary. And Shankar Roy is asking as to, do we need to protect our eyes while sun gazing? So that is since we were talking about this topic, so of course this is on top of his mind what he's asked.
So
Please.
Protecting the eyes while sun gazing is extremely important, and the best protection is to do the sun gazing as soon as the sun rises. So if you can do it in 15 minutes to 30 minutes within the sunrise, is in itself a protection, because the UV rays are at the minimalistic. And also the yellow and the blue rays are in the right combination, which gives the right kind of food to our pineal gland. And it also, while gazing the sun, as Dr. Ruchika mentioned, look at the sun like it's a small baby or a flower. With a lot of empathy, look at the sun. Look at the sun with a lot of gratitude that it is bringing life into us. So when you're doing that, and maybe and start with 10 seconds, and then 30 seconds, gradually increase it up to a level of 10 minutes. But moment you find that there is some discomfort in between, and our body can understand that, stop it then and there. So that's what I would say. Likewise, if you are doing in the evening, again, do it in the last half an hour of sunset. Again, that zenith angle is at a very low level and it will not be harmful. And there is plethora of research on this. There are a lot of papers and we can circulate that. In fact, in my blog, which I've been sending every week now, we'll be writing about these things, and we'll also maybe give Dr. Shakti will provide, and Dr. Ruchika will provide some scientific links on this subject.
Great. Thank you, RS. Hope that answers your question, Mr. Chaudhary. And we have Preeti Chopra also asking from us that if we do not get time in the early morning, can we take sun bath in afternoon, or is it very bad for us?
So depends on the season. If it is, winters, afternoon is fine. But in summers, afternoon should be avoided because, you might get sunburn and the wrinkles as well, because UVA rays, what I showed you, it penetrates deeper and it does there's a mechanism where the wrinkles can be formed. But in the morning hour is the best time. But there is a dichotomy. Some people go out with full clothes on, even in the winters. So if you are protecting yourself, with synthetic clothes and heavy clothes, whether you are in sun or you're not in sun, doesn't matter much. So one has to be cautious of that.
Right. Thank you for that, RS.
And I may also add here, even in the afternoon, it is better to protect yourself with an umbrella or a hat, or walk in the shadow rather than applying sun cream. That sun lotion, basically packs our cells with chemicals, and those chemicals get baked in that heat of sun.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting information. Another question which has come up, RS, and I think we, in interest of time, maybe we'll just take this one and maybe one more if we could. The sunlight, Mr. R.P. Verma, Dr. R.P. Verma is asking that sunlight, pretty much the UV rays, also purifies the atmosphere and killing or inactivating the bacteria and viruses, which also indirectly affects our body and mind. So, he's somewhere put in an information that yes, it is killing on the bacteria and viruses in the atmosphere. And so, what are your views on this particular aspect?
In fact, Dr. Verma is absolutely right. There are more than 70 to 100 million people who drink water where the good sanitation is not available. They drink solar charged water, and you put water and it gets disinfected. There are a lot of countries in Africa who are following this practice, and they take water from the source, put it in a transparent jar, and then you drink it, and that is a good water. So Dr. Verma is absolutely right.
Okay, great. And a very basic one, but again, the vitamin D is something people are asking that is sunlight the only source of vitamin D that you would prescribe?
Of course, there are sachets, and worst come to worst, we should at least take those sachets. But I think the moot point, or what I was trying to make, is that sachet, if the sunshine can give us this much, sachet is giving us this much. So if we really want to have this much in our life, we want to have better cardiac health, we want to have better quality of blood, we want to have cholesterol getting converted, we want to be happier, we want to be more joyful, then instead of just buying sachet for amount of money, it is better to take to the sun god of happiness, and take it free. And along with the vitamin D, you get so many other things.
Okay, great. I think this is We do have some more questions pouring in, as I see Dr. Shakti is simultaneously answering also a few of them. Still, if we would have some questions, dear audience, we will come back to you through an email to you, or a conversation of taking up in our subsequent sessions. And before we wrap up, Aris, is there anything that you want to share with us while
No,
we're still answering the
Prachi,
questions?
I think we had some very good discussion, excellent questions. And now is the time, probably you can also take the feedback with the purpose that how do we improve for the next webinar, and how can we attract more people. So the people, our distinguished audience around this webinar, if you like to bring your loved ones, you like the information. So how do we expand this communication, this good communication, that how can we become coming closer to the nature, and what more can be done around that? So I would rather encourage you to go for the questionnaire.
Perfect. Absolutely.
And before that, I must thank every one of you out here, dear audience. And I should also thank our wonderful team from Wellness Mandala. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Aris. And dear audience, you have a few questions in front of you, whereby we want to take your quick feedback of how we can improve our sessions going forward, and how did you find this particular session? Because yes, like rightly presented, we would want to come to you with a series of webinars, and we want to cover up multiple topics, and natural laws of wellness is what we are wanting to talk about, such that they become part of our daily regime, they become part of our practices, such that we can all benefit in a natural way for things which are readily available to us, but still maybe we are not too known to the benefits of it, that we're not using them in ample amounts. So with that intent, we will keep coming back to you with more and more information and some practices that you can uh, imbibe in your daily habits. So, and thank you for sharing your feedback, and I would be ending the poll now. Thank you, and good afternoon, and have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you very much. And let me say once again, our body hears everything our mind says. Let's feed the right stuff out there. Let's get closer to the nature, and let's do it together and spread this message around. Thank you all very much. Nice having you with us.